Welcome to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room, starring Antone Davis, Rocky DiStefano, Delano Williams, and Phil Anthony. Fantasy football, real results.
Welcome to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room. And you guys already know your boys, the boys, are back in town.
How's everything going this week? How's everybody doing?
It's going all right.
Yeah? How was the first round of the playoffs?
I was on a bye.
Yeah. I took a big L in one league and throttled a team in the other league. So who's that team I throttled?
Don't do it. Don't do it to him.
Is it somebody
Antone.
here?
Don't do it to him.
Don't.
I can sense the tension.
It was Antone. Yeah.
What do you mean you were on a bye?
Yeah,
I was
he
on a
was
bye
so
week.
good.
The Bye Brothers.
We got a week off.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I was down 42 points going into the Monday night game, and I scored 39 points, lost by 3. If the Browns had somehow thrown one long pass, they had 2 seconds left. Quit that lateral crap. Throw the ball to Jarvis Landry or Kareem Hunt. Let the man do what he does and win me a game.
You had Hunt, right?
Hunt and
Landry.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. So it was a rough week, man. Phil and I we had a little bit of a mandate with our families.
That's strange.
Oh, yeah?
You're smelling perfume. We went to Sephora.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so we actually had 2 mandates.
Don't give them the backstory. Just
One
Sephora.
was the perfume, which that's a rabbit hole we fell into.
Wait.
Who asked who on this date?
I think it was Phil. Actually,
I think I asked him.
Yeah, he did.
It was me.
Yeah,
Oh, you asked him to come along.
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd that go? Just like you want to go check out a...
I mean,
Perfume
our
store?
sense of smell is very different. Like things that Phil likes and the things
He was
I like.
insulting the girl that was helping us, like openly
I
insulting
didn't mean
her.
to. How so?
Well, we asked her what she liked, and she's showing us, and he smells it. Well, my wife doesn't like anything too loud. She's like, well, this is what I wear.
I did say that, and then I said, okay, I don't mean to insult you,
But you did.
but it's loud as hell. I mean, that's what I mean.
It was
it's
really
like
loud?
screaming. Like,
No, it smelled nice.
So you said, I don't mean to insult you, and then threw
But-
a bigger insult out there.
yeah.
But
So that's so funny.
But-
I did the same thing. I went to, I'm sure you guys shop. I went to Bath and Body Works.
oh, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. No, I
And,
like Bath and Body Works.
by yourself,
Got
right?
it.
Because you were...
Well,
You were
no,
alone
no,
last
no,
week?
no. I took a friend and my kids. We went to go shop for my wife's birthday. Was was yesterday. So
Oh, nice. Happy birthday.
Yeah,
What'd you
thank
get her?
I appreciate it. So I got her some roses. I got her some workout bands, some stretch resistant bands.
I don't know if I like that.
Why?
It's just never. I don't
Happy
know.
birthday, lose weight.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the best.
No, she likes it. She likes it. She's trying to get the booty up.
Okay.
So that's what she's using it for. That's what you use them for, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So that, and then I also got her some shea butter lotions and
Yeah,
The body
and,
butter.
the body butter.
Body butter.
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with
Good
the
stuff.
fragrances, I know what you mean. And do you like floral?
No.
No, that's
I like
it's
clean, clean smells.
linen.
He likes a linen. He likes
like-
a linen smell.
He's the linen guy.
Lilac.
I mean, I don't know what I like, but I know what I don't like, and that girl was
Lavender.
wearing it.
He likes
What do
the
you like?
elves.
What do you like? What is you like loud?
Phil kept grabbing
No,
this.
I don't like-
Listen, there was
no.
like a high heel shoe
That's,
type shape.
well, that's
bottle,
the one she was showing us. So
and he kept saying, "Oh, it's a bottle," and I was like, my wife wouldn't let me bring that bottle in the house. She-
All good perfumes come in glass stilettos. Great rule of
I don't
thumb.
know if you're being
what was it
sarcastic.
called?
But
What was the name of that?
I have
Stripper
no
pole?
idea.
What was the name of that perfume?
I don't know, buddy.
Would you say stripper pole?
It had like a 9-inch stiletto. Like
9 inches.
I sense you have to return
Is that what you think
something
9
now.
inches is?
Did you keep the receipt?
I hope.
Hey, I
No,
didn't
we
buy
didn't-
it.
we didn't buy it.
it.
So,
It was we were jerk offs. We just wasted 30 minutes of our life and then walked away.
well, first we went and we looked at under eye faders because we're struggling, right? And then we start spraying the perfume on the little test strips,
shit.
and then she goes, "You're not supposed to do that."
What do you mean?
Oh, yeah, we're
she
not
has
allowed
to
to
do
touch
that.
the-
Yeah, she has to do it.
I don't know.
Oh, she has to do it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway.
it was strange.
So I don't feel bad about insulting her. I got to be honest with you. You know. So
Yeah, I'm at a crossroads, man.
Christmas is coming.
No, not Christmas. My birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
when's your birthday? Oh,
I'm turning 36.
Oh, wow.
That's young.
It's see.
Well, you
That's what I'm talking about.
You gonna plug the date? Was it when's your birthday?
No, I'm not plugging it. What's crazy is that it's like people like him will say, you know, you're young, and then a bunch of the people I work with just think I'm old. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's a weird age.
Truett Cathy didn't open Chick-fil-A until he was 49. Built a $14 billion empire
Yeah.
after the age of 49. So you're young. You got life ahead of you.
Let me ask you this: you guys ever do this? I think maybe like 5 or 6 years back. You know, when I was a man of lesser means, started signing up for all these email clubs for restaurants. You know, it paid off because like now I have
You get like a lot of free restaurants.
what you would call pretty substantial bouquet, a potpourri of free items in my email. I'm struggling with it.
That's good.
I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
It's not good. You just have this feeling like I should eat this stuff because you have the coupons in your email.
It's free. You have to eat
Yeah.
it.
You see
It's
what
a
I'm saying?
rule.
I'm just finding ways to
If
go
it's,
get food.
If it's free, there's no calories.
It's
And
not good.
all this is leading back to the dilemma with your birthday.
Well, yeah, it's just a complicated time. You
Yeah.
know.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
It's because he's been signing.
Am
up
I
for these
invited?
free
That's why I
entrees.
took him out to shop for perfume. I was worried about
That's
him.
not what happened.
And then the next day we went to Animal Kingdom together with our families.
We did do it. I forgot about that.
Yeah, man. We were like together a lot this weekend.
A little too much.
Yeah, we didn't fight either, which is surprising. Not even one.
I like your wife a lot better than you, to be honest.
Well, that's fair. That's pretty much what everybody says.
She's like the glue that holds everything
But you know,
together is what I know.
but I got her to marry me, so there's got to be something of merit here. Just saying.
Did you have a beard then?
No, but a beer could be coming. Could be coming soon here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why not?
just saying. I got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I took your notes last week, and I'm struggling. I'm trying to get the chops in.
Oh, yeah?
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm struggling because
I noticed.
I didn't want to.
hey, if you guys got
Point that
anything
out.
for beers, let me know. Just comment below.
I think
Well-
Rick Ross makes a beard oil.
Hey, don't you have to have a
If you're into
beer
that
to
type of
use
thing.
oil? Because right now, is there a face oil? Is that what you're asking about? 'Cause
Something.
there's
Yeah.
not much there.
Not a beard, but
Well, I heard
my
they
sides.
do this thing too where you mix Hellman's with banana
I heard this.
and you rub it in and let it sit overnight.
This is not a thing.
No, this is the thing.
It is the
Google
thing.
it.
This is another thing too. If you take heavy cream and you put it on your face in the bare spots and let a cat lick it off,
You're
it
talking
will
about
grow
heavy
hair.
cream, like whipping cream.
Yeah, it'll grow hair.
That's not true.
It's like the same thing they do with soups. It thickens the
It's
hair.
not true, but if you're gonna try it, I'm okay with that.
You know
Just
what?
videotape it. So
Is that what we do when we lose? Is that what we're doing right there?
let's taltalk about this. Is our
Why are we
sipping
talking
beer.
about that?
'Cause
Oh, okay. The beer.
this is a ginger beer spiced stout.
disgusting.
It's like drinking a cookie. It's really good.
There's actually chunks of
the second time you said
gingerbread
that.
cookie inside.
Do you like it?
When I
Why
took
not?
a sip, I like it. I like it. It's all right. It's not as bad as you. Not
Mark-
saying you had
Well, I
this
never
stout.
It's not my style.
Mark,
you know?
Mark liked it.
It's pretty good.
Speaking of, what's going on with Mark? Huh? I noticed last week watching back the show, he's a little tense, a little uptight.
Boy, that first 10, 15 minutes,
The first
was-
show was definitely.
it's like a deer in the headlights. He was.
I was so confident going in.
You ever
Then we
seen?
sat here. We put on the headphones
Yeah.
and
You shriveled up.
It got
did.
real.
It
you
got
ever-
real fast.
You ever
A lot of
see,
experience with that, right?
What was it? What's that one movie with Will Ferrell?
It's a lot.
Yeah, well, the race car movie.
Talladega
race car
Nights.
movie.
Yeah, where he
don't know
did
what to do with my
Talladega
hands.
Didn't know what to do with his hands. It kind of was like that, but a whole body paralysis. and then you picked right in and you killed it from that point forward.
That's because the FVUC
The-
COVID kicked in.
No,
Yes.
no,
Yeah.
it wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah,
It wasn't. It was definitely the.
the bourbon.
There it is.
Bourbon.
There it is. You knew what time it was when he poured the gallon. Look. I was like, whoa, bro.
You could hear that on the show.
You're thirsty.
It seemed like.
He was.
Yeah, so tell us or them a little bit about yourself quickly.
Me?
Hey, don't
yeah,
take
you,
hey,
buddy.
don't take 3 hours like the talk in the driveway with you two.
Getting old.
Now, last week it was I was so excited to be on the show because I love fantasy football. I love talking about it. I love kicking ideas back and forth. And like I said, up until
Love
the
hanging
show,
out with the boys.
super confident. And then we sit down, we put the we put the headphones on, and then watching it back's even worse because then you pick yourself apart.
Totally
Then
different
you're
game,
like,
right?
"Ooh, man."
Well, this is what I will
I
say.
need to start using that rowing machine I bought 2 years ago.
You get the dust off first, but everybody. We're going to have good calls and bad calls. One thing we guarantee is that whatever call we make, we're basing it on hard data. And really, I've been impressed. I actually changed a few of my picks based on you guys and actually did better than I would have on my own. I think we're running as a show, about 60% or better on our predictions. And that's really about all you can ask. I mean, listen, you got to run your own team. I'm just, and if you give me 3 running backs and they all suck, I'll give you the best. It doesn't mean you're going to win, so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At the end of the day, it's just analyzing what you have in front of you and then going with your gut. I mean, you have to play the guys that you have a good feeling on.
Yeah.
Right. Last week, I made the prediction Jamison Crowder. I think he had three looks. He should have had 40.
The Jets are just a dumpster fire. Why are you touching my leg, by the way?
I was saying
trying to signal something.
We probably need to move on.
Want to move on? Well, before we move on, let me just mention, you see the hat sitting there with our badge on them? Pick them up. There you go. She's telling us to pick them up. Pick them up, fellas.
You can reach it, so I grabbed it for you.
You're hilarious. So those are made by the Sublimation Station. They're located on 1656 North Goldenrod, Orlando, Florida. And you can visit them at sublimationstation.com. They can take care of anything for you as far as sublimation, screen printing, custom shirts, custom pants, custom jerseys, custom whatever. They're going to be donating some T-shirts to us, and we're going to be giving them away, and maybe some of these hats, and you can rub the badge as well. I don't know what it's going to do.
It'll probably get us a higher prediction rating.
Yeah, we are going to be giving some of these away in the future, if you guys have good questions and comments. But they're also available to buy here pretty soon. We'll have it on our website.
And that's that.
I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying.
He's just talking out of his ass, but I guess we're going to have to do it now.
Yeah, now we are.
We are.
mean, listen,
With a
I'm a
plug.
capitalist. That's all I'm saying.
He is the Godfather. Go ahead.
All right.
Feel good about our backups. Feel good about our tight end. I feel good about our quarterback. I feel good about our 2 running backs.
Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Don't say how much you love him.
Don't you? Hey, you can talk about it. Talk about it. Go ahead and talk about it.
I'm going to let you lead us into the first discussion.
We're gonna go ahead and everybody know what time it is. We're gonna go ahead into our first pick. We got about 7 minutes on the clock, maybe 8 minutes.
Yeah,
I might give you a little more time depending, but we're gonna wrap it up. All right. Well, I feel good about the quarterbacks. What y'all think about the quarterbacks? Remember, when it's 7, 8 minutes on the clock, 7, 8 minutes, we done.
Starting now. All right. What do you guys think?
All right, I'm going to lead right out there. This is not going to be popular with you, particularly Rocky. I know this, but
ahead.
I'm taking L-Jax against Jacksonville.
Ooh.
I think he's facing a terrible defense all around in Jacksonville. They're giving up, against the run, they're giving up 145 yards against the run, 16 touchdowns. And then through the air, they are giving up another 273 and tied for the league with 28 touchdowns given up. So, I mean, a guy with his kind of talent we saw last week, he could pull the ball down. He's carving up Cleveland's second tier there. And a strong showing.
Yeah, he was.
So I like him against that team.
So I don't disagree. I think if you have Jackson, you got to start him for sure. I don't know that he's going to run as recklessly as he has been. I think he ran for 94 yards and then 124 yards in the last 2 games. And I think he's been doing it because they were kind of do or die about making the playoffs. But this victory over the Browns bought him a little bit of elbow room. And if I'm Baltimore, I'm going to try to protect him because I want him healthy for the postseason. That being said, I still think he's going to run for 60, 70 yards, probably throw for another 200 at least, have a couple touchdowns. I hate the guy. No, that's not fair.
Yeah, why do you?
I don't hate the guy.
What's
I
that
just
about?
like him. Well,
You have a bad taste in your mouth.
I hate the Ravens
Yeah.
because of what they did to Cleveland. And so from, extrapolating out,
I
I
get what
hate
you're saying.
any Ravens player. But I would start him too.
Yeah, hopefully he runs and doesn't have the runs. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
Bada boom.
Bada boom. All right. Who do I want to bring up?
These aren't going to be any,
I mean,
we're not
let's-
earth-shattering,
Yeah, we're
right?
not gonna. Yeah, I mean, Rodgers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Patrick Mahomes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't really have to talk about those guys.
Well, okay, let's talk a second about Mahomes because going against Saints, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look great against the Denver Broncos. This is a much better pass rush, a better defense altogether.
Yeah.
But the reason why I would start Mahomes without any questions is the most Mahomes-like quarterback that the Saints played was Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers carved him up 290 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I think both of those two are starts.
Mahomes threw 3 picks last week and still put up 24 and a half points. So.
Yeah. And let me tell you what, all props to Miami's defense. I mean, they rushed that guy. It was insane. Like, he was under pressure the entire game.
He's young.
He got sacked for like a 30-yard loss. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was pretty.
That was
pretty.
pretty funny.
Yeah, it was ugly. So,
Yeah, who you got?
well, I
I
kind of
just
feel like I
said
stole yours.
Oh,
Air-
I guess. All right. So
Air
I
Bear?
got another guy. Yeah, I do like Air Bear.
Air Bear.
Las Vegas is that defense is pretty bad. They're 13th against fantasy QB, so middle of the road, but ranked 29th in points per game. And with Eckler in the game, I think it kind of takes away a large percentage of that chance for the running backs to run the ball in. I just feel like he's going to be involved in more. He has a better chance of being involved in the touchdown scored against a team that's allowing the most points per game in the league.
Yeah.
So if that's tossing it to Eckler, you got Henry. Williams is out. We're not sure about Allen right now, so that may change things a little bit. Maybe they go more run heavy if they're missing a couple of those guys, but I guess we got to wait and see.
Yeah. And there is a chance. I mean, you guys are going to have to check because there's a chance that they'll be without Williams, Allen, and Eckler.
And Heckler, all of them. Which wouldn't be bad for me. I want Abear to have a huge game, and I need Hunter Henry to finally break out.
There you
I've been
go.
waiting.
Yeah.
He's been on almost every team I have this year, playing him serviceable like we talked about last week.
In your
10,
head,
11, 12, 13 points.
with your man crush for Hunter Henry, do you have a nickname for him? Is there something you...
No, not as of yet.
We'll
I
come
think
up
you
with
should come up
something.
with one.
We'll
Yeah.
come up with something.
Okay.
I would still start what do you guys think about Matt Ryan?
I'm a big Matt Ryan guy. Like, I like him a lot. What do you guys think about him this
I don't
week?
hate the matchup. The only thing when it's hard for me to start Ryan because he doesn't run. So if he just decides to have a bad game like Watson, Watson has a bad game, throws 1 touchdown, but I got a stat on him. He hasn't rushed the ball since week 7. He hasn't had less than 7 rush attempts. So you have a nice floor there. With Matt Ryan, if they're having a bad game and they're getting shut down, that's it.
Well, I mean, yeah, no.
That's the only reason it's hard for. I mean,
But he didn't
like
have a bad game.
No, he didn't. What I'm saying is
Well,
just
did they
the
play-
risk with him is that
Did they play them already? The Falcons play the Bucks?
I believe so.
Because I mean, that's what I would look at because...
They haven't played.
Well, I'm not sure. We need to look at that because
look it
to
up
me,
right now.
the reason I wouldn't start Ryan has more to do with the Buccaneers defense than it does with Ryan himself.
Why is that?
I just think the Bucks are a solid defense. They have a decent rush. You said he's not a mobile quarterback. I agree, and so I think that's.
I agree with the rush part, but I think I mentioned on last show that for the last month the Bucks have had the worst pass defense in the league
Again, yeah, but
on the
they've-
perimeter. Yeah.
Well, but they've played a lot more mobile QBs,
That's
and
fair.
he's not. So I feel like, yeah, there's like if Lamar Jackson is playing against the Bucks, it's a good matchup. But
Right.
Ryan is just kind of mobile or
He's
immobile
more-
at this point.
More of a statue. But I think he may get Julio back this week. Then you have Calvin Ridley, who's
It's got to help.
Right.
every week. Calvin Ridley just shows
Yep.
how dynamic he is as
Balls.
a player.
Yep. I mean, they have a decent tight end. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got all the components to.
they
be
haven't
good.
played yet this
I would
year.
just think it's a shootout at
And
that
again,
point. So
exactly.
I think he would still put out a good amount of yards and
He's
put up
gotta keep-
probably the same, if not, if we're not counting sacks, he probably throw an interception,
Right.
two or 3 touchdowns, maybe not. Based on Tampa's defense, but he still has the tools to do.
Well, and you're right.
all
He
of that.
does. To your point, he's got the receivers to attack the perimeter. So if they can get it out, that's fair. The guy I like a lot is Jared Goff this week, which is, I mean, part of it's who he's playing against.
Yeah.
But the Jets, they're allowing quarterbacks to pass for an average of almost 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Only 2 defenses have allowed more yardage to quarterbacks than the Jets. So I think it sets up pretty well for Goff. I love Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods in this contest too.
I love everybody who can catch a ball in that contest.
That's right. Yeah. Now Cam Akers, is he? Well, I guess we'll talk about him later.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, anybody else? You did mention Carr, 700 yards, 5 touchdowns the last 2 games. It's kind of middle of the road matchup, but I think Chargers are just going to score, and I think it'll be a back and forth game, probably be decided in the fourth quarter. So I like Carr again to put up kind of the same stat line, around 300 yards, maybe a TD or 2. Just hope he doesn't throw, those interceptions.
Anybody you guys wouldn't want to start?
Jalen Hurts. Sorry.
No, Jalen.
And the only reason I'm saying that is they won that game, but he only had 167 yards. He's doing.
Let me tell you what.
He did, but he kept that.
He
kept the
did.
defense honest.
But
did.
But you've got a point there.
He did, but he wasn't.
His arm does not look up to NFL standards.
I was going to say that, but he's
I
fresh.
just don't think his arm.
That is
there.
a great
He-
call.
I mean, that's really his first game action that we have to hold him against. He did 17 to 30 for 167, very modest, 83.6 quarterback rating. But what he did do is he opened up that offense. You have to respect a guy like that that can pull down the ball and run. He opened Miles Sanders up. Miles Sanders had 115 on 14 carries.
Yeah.
And we were all thinking that Miles Sanders might throw up a stinker last week.
Well, and the logic, prevailing logic is a running quarterback actually frees up a good running back to more, and that happened. I'm just going to tell you, his running style, he reminds me a lot of Cam. I just think his arm is below average, and I think if he's got to throw to win, and I think they're not going to play. They played the Saints. It's hard to say this, but the Saints had trouble containing him, and not every team is going to have that much trouble.
So here's what's crazy: just between the two guys, they put up over 200 yards rushing, and New Orleans still is only averaging 89 yards.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
a
it's
game
just
against them. So I think
that's
it's
an
kind of-
aberration game.
That's kind of unfair to I don't know, to hold him to that standard when he faced one of the toughest.
Yeah.
run defenses.
Yeah, but
But
tough,
at the same
tough
time-
defenses have bad games.
At the same time, you
True.
look at everything that was done in the game. It was only 2 major people that were effective in that game, which was Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. If anyone else was like that, they would have been.
But can we even name a wide receiver on Philadelphia? I mean,
Rager.
I mean,
Rager.
aside from their tight end.
Goater.
He was split.
Gotta.
He was running in.
Yeah.
So
No,
Where are
I
we
just
at with
I don't
time
think he
here?
has much
it's
to
a,
work
we're
with.
over.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
over.
All right, so let's set
About a minute.
Let's reset that timer, and then we'll go into running backs because we got a lot to talk about with the running backs.
Yeah, we sure do.
It's a lot of good running backs this week.
7 minutes on the clock.
All right, you started off, Rocco.
There's the usual suspects I feel like you can't go wrong with, but one that I'm pretty high on right now is David Montgomery. He's been an absolute monster of late. In his last 3, he's averaged 136 total yards between rushing and receiving. That's what I like. As his running has picked up, his receptions have picked up too. He's got 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Minnesota ranks 20th in rush defense, and they've allowed 8 rushing scores. So that's kind of a worrisome piece, is that they've only allowed 8 rushing scores, which is tied for like 3rd best in the league. But I got to believe that this is going to be a solid game for Chicago, Mitch, and for Montgomery.
I think you're right. I think Mitch is actually going to. I mentioned him under quarterbacks. As he used my under the radar quarterback going in there, but I think interjecting him back into the lineup has really made that offense a little bit more fluid
Moves.
because he can move. So he opens things up, and because of that, David Montgomery, sort of like what Jalen Hurts did for Miles Sanders last week, Montgomery's getting his touches, and look what he's doing.
Yeah. I did see, too, Mitch look to a second receiver last week, too. He actually looked past one and went.
Skies parted.
Yeah, he put a rest.
Was that on second down? So first down, he looked at the first receiver. Second down, he looked at the
It
second.
was all inclusive of a 1 down, and he actually threw it to the guy Mooney, and Mooney caught it. So it could have been a revelation. Maybe
Super Bowl bound.
maybe he didn't know you could deviate from the selected
That's a
receiver.
good
Maybe he
point.
thought the second receiver was the first receiver.
Maybe so.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, how about you guys?
So
Who do you
volume for Montgomery, basically,
Yeah.
right? That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
I like Mike Davis with McCaffrey obviously not playing again, I guess, for the rest of the year, whatever. Packers allowed the 8th most receptions to running backs this year, and that's his bread and butter, basically. The volume's going to be there. in a game where I expect the Packers to score, and I expect Davis, even if it's in garbage time, to get a few dump offs and hopefully get in the end zone. I like Davis a lot.
Yeah. How about you?
So I'm riding JT this week. Jonathan Taylor.
What?
Jonathan Taylor. What was
JT?
What-
That's what he prefers. He prefers JT.
What were we calling Jonathan Taylor, Thomas Taylor?
JTT.
JT. I do like him going up against Houston's abysmal run defense. Houston allowing over 150 yards a game, 17 touchdowns. And as I had pointed out to Phil during the week,
He did.
Houston has allowed some of the longest runs of any team this year, and it just seems like everybody that is a half-decent running back is breaking off these long runs, as evidenced by the first touch of the game for Montgomery last week, that 80-yard touchdown run, their first play from scrimmage. So I think a guy like Jonathan Taylor, who has, great breakaway speed, he's pretty big, and he's going to get touches. He's talented.
Well, and he's catching a little bit more too.
Yeah.
To me, he's the last couple games he's put it together. He seems like he's filling that offense now.
Yeah, kind of shaking off the jitters like what I'm trying to do here week 2. Sure.
Only thing I worry about, I don't worry about him as a player. It seems like he's taking over the backfield. I just worry about that coaching staff again deciding to be what they've been in the past, and just I'm not saying I wouldn't start him. I rank him pretty high, but it just bothers me. I also have obviously Austin Eckler here. If he winds up playing, we mentioned before Las Vegas, they're terrible against running backs, and he's averaging 20 touches a game since coming back from the injury. So, he's probably my top 5 this week.
Tell you one that's really high. I'm really high on, which, you're always high on this guy, but even higher. I would really do the research to find out if Breeze is going to be starting this week. And if he is, Alvin Kamara should fall right back into place of what he was. He went from he was on pace to catch 119 receptions with Breeze. He caught 3. He's caught 3 since Hill has been on.
That's crazy how they get so far away from their offensive scheme with a
different quarterback.
Just change into the guard like that.
But the great thing is, I don't know if it's going to be Breeze, but if it is, I think Kamara is going to be back to catching and running. And I actually like the idea of mixing in Hill more, which I think they will do even if Breeze starts.
Yeah.
Because I did like that Hill running allows Kamara some easy lanes too.
That's true. I guess the only thing I'd say is Kansas City's a top 10 rushing defense, but that's not going to stop you from starting Kamara this week.
What about the Ohio State?
Zeke? We're talking Zeke?
No.
There's so many Ohio
running
State.
back. I'm getting there.
You got to
the
say
Ravens.
which one.
He's working his way.
JK?
J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
I like
Against the
J.K.
Jags?
He's the guy there for sure. Ingram had 1 carry last week.
Yeah, but Gus looked pretty good.
Gus looked good, but
Gus
he's still
vultured 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still. So, if you were going to choose between those 2 guys to
Gus.
start, you're going to start Gus.
Because of the scores, not because
That's what
he's a
you're-
better running back.
Yeah, so then you're counting on the scores.
Yeah.
2 carries, 4 yards, 2 touchdowns is better than 20 carries, 80 yards.
Yeah, but
The
it's
crazy
fluky.
thing was Dobbins
You're gonna
at
count on him to
the
score 2
Ohio State
touchdowns every
University.
Was
The
it-
Ohio State University scored like crazy. Like he couldn't be stopped within the 5-yard line. So I don't understand. Sometimes they just get tricky because
So
they
he's
can be
playing
tricky.
he's playing like Lamar because he's not always hot. No.
That's fair.
That
Anybody you wouldn't start this week? Anybody you're worried about?
Well, I did. So this is like counterintuitive because I was just about to argue for Dobbins, I think, going forward. But the only thing that worries me about him, besides the vulturing, because I don't think that's something that you're going to count on every week, personally, in my opinion. But receptions, he's not catching any balls. So, it's hard. I don't know. Anytime a running back doesn't catch the ball, you don't have a floor. It makes it hard for me. It's easy for me to fade a guy and start somebody else.
I'm
But
a big fan of running backs that catch the ball too.
you
don't like Kamara?
Oh, he said he is.
Oh no,
fan.
I'm a
he
huge
said he
fan.
is a big
Oh,
fan.
he is.
fan.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
I'll just mention James Robinson really quick. I don't think we have to. He's James Robinson. He's going to get the volume. If you have him, you're going to start him. I don't think you're going to sit Robinson. And Derrick Henry, who, as opposed to you, I think has the best matchup of the week. The only thing that worries me a little bit with them is they're just bad all over the field on defense. So
Yeah, they can
And
be
does-
attacked by several ways.
Does Tannehill throw 3 touchdowns this game and Henry doesn't get it? Because Henry kind of needs a touchdown or two. But, I mean, he's going to run all over them, especially if
So
they
on
get
that
a lead.
point, before we wrap it up, because you're going to start Henry, would you not start Swift?
I'm iffy on Swift just because
I don't know what's going on with
Don't start him, right?
I like Swift this week.
You do like him
I
this
do
week.
like Swift this
him.
week.
I love him, but I just don't quite know why it's so up and down with him.
Right.
That's it's nothing against
I
him.
think they're still worried about the concussion a bit.
Yeah, he must have a nagging injury. And that's what I was saying last week, too.
A Nagy injury.
A naggy.
Just all in your head, huh?
Yeah. Well,
What do
All
you
Bears all day.
what do you guys think? I have a question about Browns, Chubb, and Kareem Hunt. Giants have only allowed 20 touchdowns all year, roughly 2 per game. I don't think anybody's going to be able to stop the Browns running game. Like, I think that they're going to wear you down. But to me, I don't start Hunt this week because I think you're too reliant on a fourth quarter touchdown. I think they're going to run it with Chubb. So I feel more comfortable with Chubb's floor
Yeah.
than I do with Hunt.
Out of the two, I would go Chubb as well, but I knew you were not going to like me this week because I have a lot of Browns that I just feel going up against that defense. New York has a pretty solid run defense.
Oh, they do. They have a good
100
defense all
yards.
around. Their secondary is not as good as their run defense, but they're a good defense.
But Cleveland's playing out of their mind too.
That's what I was gonna
Cleveland's
say, yeah.
offense is
The only time that the Cleveland offense has been stopped is in 3 weather games. Everything else, they've scored over 30 points.
Here's what I'll say. I think a lot of it depends on who plays quarterback for the Giants. I
Well,
think
yeah.
if you get, well, I'm saying even the
Yeah.
way the game's going to play out. If Colt McCoy plays, they're going to have a much more conservative game plan. They're going to try to control the clock a lot more, and while that lends itself to what Chubb wants to do, what the Browns want to do too, but it just means less plays ran, less
A lower
opportunities,
scoring game.
lower scoring game. If Jones plays, it's not like they're throwing the ball all around the yard either, but there's going to
definitely move a lot more.
They're going to do a lot more.
Yeah.
And
He's gonna
I think
be able
there's
to throw against the Browns secondary.
yeah, so it just depends on
If
what they
he
want to do.
plays.
If he plays, it changes things, and then you maybe get Hunt involved more. But that's if he looks better than last week because he had another injury midway through the week. They announced a sprained ankle, and if he looks like he did on that leg last week, I mean, I don't think they'll be able to do much of anything. So, I mean, 2 weeks ago I wasn't so high on either of these guys for the Browns, but I could see the game going a certain way and them getting a bunch of touches late in the game if they're up.
I just feel like Chubb's good for 80 yards rushing at least and a touchdown, and I think you're going to start that most weeks.
All right. So what do you guys think we're going to do
Well,
wide receiver wise?
I had a question for you first,
Let me- yeah.
because I just can you talk about the jersey you have on and like what is there some significance? Is that a color rush or
This
a special
is a color,
jersey?
yeah, it's a color rush. I could have sworn we didn't wear this yet, but I guess we did.
Well, who was number 10?
Number 10. Well,
Come on, see when you get disrespectful like that, you're wearing a Tim Couch jersey, man. What's wrong with you?
Tim Couch was
I should
one
smack
of
you
the best
around this
quarterbacks.
room.
He was one of the best quarterbacks.
Well, that was
Uh-huh.
that. I didn't think it was that kind of question. I thought he was actually giving
No,
Eli
he
some
was-
spotlight.
no,
I
he
didn't-
well,
wasn't
this is
doing
Eli. I should have known that because I
Oh, okay.
can see you're having
I
trouble
didn't see
sitting
that.
down there.
Anyways, we got 8 minutes on the clock. Wide receivers, guys. Who would you start this week? Who are you high in on this week with wide receivers? I know you said Calvin Ridley he balled out of control this week. I'm not gonna lie. It was
He's a talented dude.
it was a sad game. It was a sad game for the Falcons and
Yeah.
the way they just kind of fell off and
It's been a sad year for the Falcons in that regard. They keep falling off every week. It seems like.
and they're in
They-
it.
They are
Receivers
finding ways to
to
not
lose.
win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
The game against Chicago, they had they have a 3 touchdown lead late in the third quarter, and Chicago came back and beat them.
you would start him though.
That game personally, I like all the wide receivers in that game. If Jones plays, I like Jones. I like Ridley. I like all of Tampa Bay's receivers.
You-
I like Gronkowski.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, this game screams high scoring affair.
Yeah. I mean, we talked a little bit about this. I have trouble with Tampa Bay, not because any of the receivers are bad, but because there's so many good receivers. I mean, and you can even go deeper. Their second tight end, is it Cameron Brate? Or is it O.J.
Howard?
Yeah, O.J. Howard. I think
O.J.
they're using Brate some too. Like, they're talented. So I think of Brady's 12 interceptions, 10 have come when he's throwing the ball over 20 yards. And that makes me nervous more for Mike Evans than any of the other receivers. It's not Mike Evans' fault that Brady's 43, but it affects him.
I mean, Mike Evans is wishy-washy sometimes.
Mike Evans
he's good.
He's a dude. But
he's
good.
wishy-washy.
Yeah.
What else you guys have?
I think with Evans, I think you have to push the ball down the field and allow him to get physical.
Yeah.
It seems like that's where a lot of his receptions come
But
from.
that's not what Brady does.
Well, he's gotten physical trying to break up interceptions thrown by Brady this year. But, I don't know if that's what he wants to do.
Good point. If I had to choose out of any of the Tampa receivers this week, I think it's Godwin. I like Godwin's matchup.
Shifty. He's a shifty guy for
He
sure.
is very shifty. He catches a lot of balls over the middle, and he'll scream down the sideline and let Brady hit him on a fly too.
One receiver that, and listen, guys, you know who the all-stars are. You're not thinking about whether you're starting Devontae Adams or not. You are. Like, you're not even thinking about it. But to me, one under the radar is Curtis Samuel. Last 6 games, he's averaged 56 to 58 yards, but he's also run the ball every single game, and he's averaged 12 yards per game. He's had more touchdowns than any other receivers, especially when you factor in that 2 of those runs amounted to a touchdown. So, if you're looking for somebody who's maybe a good wide receiver 3, I think Curtis Samuel's pretty strong.
Seems like Carolina is trying to force feed Samuel the ball too, so he must be. They must have highlighted him as an extreme playmaker. They're trying to get the ball in his hands however they can.
Samuel's he's gonna be a free agent. He's not gonna sign there, and he's gonna go somewhere else. And it's gonna be like a discovery. He set almost every record at Ohio State. He was amazing when he was there. He runs a 4.3, great hands. The issue that he's had is he is Christian McCaffrey. So the balls that would normally go to that type of player go to Christian McCaffrey. That's why Curtis Samuel's has done better with him being injured.
Right, which
Makes
is a great
sense.
point.
So before I mention the guy I want to talk about, since we're not going to talk about Adams, I'll mention
Talk about
MVS.
Adams.
Oh man, we took your sleeper.
No, I'm going to talk about my sleeper. I'm just mentioning him since we won't be talking about Adams. Scantling I like along with Adams just because I like this matchup so much. Panthers allowing the 4th most fantasy points to wide receivers in the last month, and second most to guys on the perimeter, which is where Scantling mostly is. And so you can easily see one of his normal games, maybe a couple extra catches and a big play over the top. But who I really want to talk about was Ty Hilton, going against
He's look good.
that defense, man. With Bradley Roby suspended, Vernon Hargreaves is allowing the 3rd most fantasy points among corners in the league. After last year, allowing the most. So it's a great matchup for Hilton, who seems to have found his groove here. They played about 2 weeks ago. Hilton had his biggest game of the year, 8 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown, which was really his breakout. And he's been kind of hit the ground running since then.
What do you think? I mean, what do you guys think? What's happened? Because, he's a veteran receiver. He wasn't injured that we know about. Why did it take so long for them to figure this out?
The only thing I can think of is maybe the timing, because you're bringing in Phillip Rivers, who's also a proven vet who's probably had slightly different timing with some of the receivers that he's had in the past. It seems like he's always had the taller, lankier, a little bit faster receivers that go up and catch a ball for him, and now trying to adjust to maybe a T.Y. Hilton.
Right.
I'm trying to think somebody that maybe he's played with the Chargers that would kind of mimic Hilton's style, and
I can't really
I'm
think of
hard-pressed
one.
to think of one.
Yeah.
Well, I think Hilton's probably the quickest receiver he's played with. Even Keenan Allen, probably the guy you would be closest to him.
But not
But
really.
still more
He's a
of
little
a-
bigger than
He's bigger. He's
T.Y.
more physical than T.Y. is the
Yeah.
speed guy. I think you
Maybe
it's
like
some of what you
Amendola.
said.
Maybe Amendola.
I think it's more. It's that, and it's you pair that with the COVID thing. No real
preseason,
Right.
So you imagine they're playing their preseason in real time during the regular season. It just probably took them some time to get on the same page.
Yeah. And maybe it's the situation of a new quarterback, because it hasn't seemed like that's affected other veteran receivers, but
That's true.
if somebody stashed him on their team for, hope and wishing upon a star,
Right.
he's not a bad start as you're getting into your playoffs.
Right.
You know?
One guy I want to say get into your lineups this week is, for me, Brandon Ayuk.
Ayuk.
I think Ayuk going up against that atrocious Dallas defense. Now, Dallas, worst in the league against the run. Actually not terrible against the pass when it comes to yardage. When it comes to touchdowns, tied for most touchdowns given up. So 28 touchdowns. So kind of tells me maybe they don't allow teams to stretch them down the field. But with San Francisco, you're not going to get stretched down the field. San Francisco plays a lot around the line of scrimmage. I think they're going to find creative ways to get the ball into Ayuk's hands. And then once you get to that second level, I mean, good luck tackling the guy because, Dallas against the run is just plumb awful.
After Samuels went out last week, he was targeted 16 times. 16
Crazy.
times. Yeah. Which, let's talk about Samuels. One of the most talented receivers
That S showing up again.
averages 2 games a season when he's not injured.
Yeah.
This guy,
He's a young guy too, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's like somebody who's suspended for drugs, but it's injuries for him. Like
He's like the new Josh Gordon.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So,
at least Josh is having fun.
and this is somebody you mentioned before the show you wanted to talk about, but I'm going to rattle
Did
off
you just
some
rub
names
his
here.
leg?
I touched it. I could have rubbed it.
I saw it.
So
Y'all get
tell
a
me
little
if you guys
frisky.
know any of these
I don't
names.
think he even
You
tried
ready?
to hide it.
All right. So Bryce Callahan, AJ Bouye, Hassan Bassi, Duke Dawson Jr., and Kevin Tolliver the second, not the first. Those are the top 5 Denver cornerbacks.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this season.
Yeah.
All 5 of those guys are out.
Yeah.
For the rest of the year.
Is Bryce Callahan, is that Tommy Callahan's son?
I think so.
I think so.
Tommy boy. Yeah.
Yeah. Good guy.
I used to wash his car.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I used to wash his car back in
62?
no.
Oh.
That would be too long. I wasn't born yet.
It was a joke.
But yeah, I used to detail his car. And then I woke up.
I believe you. Yeah. So do we know what happened with these guys?
They're out for the season. Not particularly sure what they're out with, but they're not playing. They're starting a couple rookies and a guy that they moved up off the practice squad. They gave up, I think it was 242 yards, 43 fantasy points last week to the Panthers. So Diggs, John Brown, who's trending towards playing this week. Downgrade Gabe Davis and Cole Beasley. I think they're in a great matchup. And we didn't mention Allen earlier, but him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
He's a no-brainer.
Yeah, like we talked about last week, Josh Allen. Just how do you sit Josh Allen? You don't sit Josh Allen unless somehow, some way, you're in a dynasty league where you have Josh Allen backing up, Patrick Mahomes. Then it's a little bit tougher for you.
He's performed like a top 5 all year. So.
All right, who would you guys not start?
I got somebody. You got somebody?
Devontae Parker.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Gilmore's gonna lock him up. Devontae Parker, if they even look his way. I don't know what it is with him this year. He doesn't seem to be as physical as he was last year. Last year, it looked like he was on a mission. He kind of broke out. He wanted to perform for his doubters. And then this year, I don't know. It seems like he regressed a little bit again. But I think Gilmore locks him up. I don't think he'll provide many fantasy points this week.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm gonna mention. I'm not gonna say not start him, but man, I do not like the matchup for Mike Thomas. The Chiefs allowed the second fewest fantasy points to receivers this year, second fewest receptions and yards to wide receivers. So basically, they're shutting everybody down. And I didn't go through the whole list, the laundry list of the wide receivers they face this year, but they're second in the league, 7.2 yards per target, 60% catch rate, which are both top 3, and the 5th fewest to the perimeter.
Well, and if Breeze does come back this week, they haven't played all year together.
That's true, but it might give them a bump.
It may, but it also might be again, that timing. So
Yeah, I feel like Drew always looks Mike Thomas's way, though.
yeah, he does.
Drew, I don't.
And to your point, since Hill has taken over, Thomas is the 14th scoring wide receiver in fantasy, so he's dropped out of the top. Also, just before we wrap up, Allen Robinson, I got to mention Allen Robinson. Last 3 games with Trubisky, 23 catches, 272, and 3 touchdowns.
Okay, my watch and maybe don't start. I don't like how Deontay Johnson's looking. I have never seen a coach bench their number one receiver, but that's what happened last week. He couldn't catch a ball. He's had drops the last 3 weeks, and I don't like that situation at all. I just don't like it.
Sounds like we're talking about the Bengals.
It's against the Bengals, too. That's what you would think I would say start him, but I don't know, man. I've never seen a number one receiver get benched quicker in my entire life. Like, he was pissed. Tomlin was pissed at Johnson.
I missed that.
Oh, my God. And it was just a dejected Deontay's on the bench, like just about to tear
I've
up.
seen him.
Like, he was
It was
upset.
crazy.
Well, Tomlin's got to be in attack mode now. I mean, Tomlin's a professional.
They lost
You know,
two.
He is a great coach. 2 in a row. We talked about last week, maybe them being exposed.
Yeah, you call that.
And, Tomlin's got to be, he has to be pissed. It doesn't matter who you are on that team. If you're not performing, get out of my lineup. I need guys that can because we have to bring a championship to Pittsburgh.
7 minutes. 7 minutes.
Well, you got how
Tight ends, right?
how much time you got left with Roethlisberger? You got to win now.
You have to win now.
I think this year probably.
Yeah. Tight ends. What do you guys think?
Do we have to talk about Kelsey?
No.
Okay.
We shouldn't talk about Waller, right? You're going to start Waller.
Is Kelsey another one of your sleepers like Devontae Adams?
Big sleeper.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't my sleeper, dumbass.
Sleeper.
Okay. My Robert Tonyan,
Oh yeah.
second. I honestly believe this. He's the second best pass catcher on his team.
Another white tight end.
Yeah, I love white tight ends. So there we go. I just realized what I said there. So yeah, it's out there.
Jesus.
Yeah. Anyways, he tends to see more balls than any receiver.
We're just on a roll here.
Hey-o.
No, that was on purpose.
Okay. He tends to see more throws than any receiver not named Adams on that team.
It's better.
And in particular, they use him in the red zone. He's caught 9 touchdowns in his last 10 games. He's
good.
caught 40 passes, almost 500 yards. And I kind of see this week being a 4 for 46 and a touchdown.
Yeah, sign me up for that. I'll take that every day.
So what about Hawkinson?
Hawk for the lock this week.
Ooh,
I
Hawk
like
for the
Hawk.
lock.
I like Hawkinson this week. I think he's going to get a lot of targets against Tennessee's shaky secondary. I think Galladay again being questionable like he is every week. Galladay is
You should just
Kenny Holiday.
he's Julio. He's Julio, but for Detroit. I don't know. I think Hawkinson has earned the trust of Stafford if he plays. That's a big if too.
Well, who's the backup there?
Chase Daniel.
Wow, he's still in the league.
Yeah.
He looked.
Well, I think
looked okay.
that
He a little
works out
fast.
for Hawkinson as well. Though.
I like Daniels,
He
actually.
can
doesn't-
move though.
He doesn't push the ball down the field. He's going to be dumping it off to him, the running back. So I think either way, Hawkinson's a nice start.
Yeah, I think Swift actually gets an uptick if Daniels.
Yeah.
There's an S on that one, right? I
Yeah,
can't.
there
I
actually-
can't. I
there
can't look to
is
Rocky for this. 'cause
Legitimate
I-
S on
All right,
Daniels.
there's an S on that one. Daniels. All right.
And you be you, whatever you want to do.
How do you guys feel about Logan Thomas?
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Alex Smith makes a big difference for the tight ends in Washington, and Logan seems like he's got some talent.
I feel the same. Well, not to the same degree, but I feel if Haskins has to play, same kind of thing, security blanket. Although I know last year when he played, he targeted McLaurin pretty heavily. But still, he's a safety valve, and he's efficient. The last 2 games where he's really came on, he's caught 14 of his 15 targets.
Yeah, that's amazing.
To the tune of 141 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's a little bit higher up on the board if
Well, and he's
Smith
also,
plays.
he's a former quarterback.
former quarterback.
So I just like that, Jarvis seems like he throws a pass about every 3 or 4 games. I kind of feel like at some point Logan might throw a pass. It
Yeah,
might be a
that's nice
gimmicky
to
play.
have.
Yeah.
And once teams start respecting him like they should, I think we're going to start talking about Terry McLaurin on a weekly basis too.
Yeah,
he's
he's
going to
a
start
stud,
opening.
man.
He's going to start opening up the field for. I mean, McLaurin's already good, but I mean now.
Where do you play college ball?
No, don't do that.
The Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yeah. Okay.
The Ohio State.
I know. I didn't say the.
Anybody else you guys want to talk about?
I'll just mention Irv Smith if Rudolph doesn't play last week. 4 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty solid. Noah Fant, good corner play. That team's going up against. So Might open things up for him in the middle of the field, and he's been steady. Same kind of thing, 4 catches, 5 catches, 40, 50 yards, and you hope for a touchdown. The tight ends, it's pretty bad. You know, I mean, you got a couple guys, and it just drops off a cliff.
Yeah, watch Giuseppe. There's a very good chance he's not going to be playing this week, so make sure you do your research. He's got a pretty bad shoulder injury, so it could be somebody you can't start this week.
I'm going to go back to the Chicago well real quick before we get off of tight ends, and I think Cole Kmet.
Yeah.
I think Cole Kmet now, he's
the
what,
starter.
70-some, 80-some percentage of the snaps he's in on.
Quietly, yeah.
They are targeting him a bunch. You're talking about Mitch, another, locks onto that first receiver, which thank God it's Allen Robinson. That's the reason why Allen's been doing so good. But when he's able to scramble and he gets off of Allen Robinson, he's usually looking for that escape valve, which has been Cole Kmet, and he's been turning in solid performances.
Is that it?
You know him from the University of Tennessee, a Vol for life. A former first-round pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. And the runner-up on Season 12 of The Biggest Loser. Coming to us from a Wawa in Upper Delaware and giving us his injury updates, Antone Davis.
All right, everybody. Antone Davis here with the injury update for this week. And really, the story is more about who's back as opposed to who's injured. Last week, we reported a lot of guys being out on a lot of different teams. And boy, if you just listen as I go right down the list, it seems like the league is getting healthier this late in the season. But take a look. Kenyon Drake, Larry Fitzgerald, these guys are all back and off the injured list. Des Bryant is off of COVID. Andre Roberts. T. Higgins is back. Zeke is still questionable, but he'll definitely play. You guys know that. Matt Stafford is back. Malik Taylor, Pharaoh Brown, Phillip Rivers is also back. Tyreek Hill is off, and of course Tua is off. So, it's pretty interesting to see this. Normally this time of year we see a lot of guys getting banged up, a lot of guys being on the injured reserve list and injured list, but a lot of guys coming off. Definitely positive for your teams, so be thinking about that. Did have 2 key injuries, though, that I wanted to make sure I mentioned. Deebo Samuel has actually been downgraded and ruled out for the rest of the season due to a nagging hamstring injury. And, of course, Christian McCaffrey has actually been downgraded to doubtful. So those are the 2 key injuries there, but a lot of guys back, so a lot of teams sort of refortifying and coming back. So looking forward to a great week of games this weekend. That's the injury report, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Reporting to you live
So,
from a Wawa near you.
yeah, what do you guys like and what do you guys eat at Wawa? They got some good food.
It's a good
You
question.
can't sleep. I'm going to be honest with you guys. You know what I do?
What do you do?
I wait till like 3 a.m.
I don't
and
believe
I sit
you.
in the parking lot.
No,
right?
you're lying.
And here comes the fresh bakery truck.
Oh, really? This
And
from
they load
Philadelphia.
off
The tasty cakes.
I might
racks
believe you now.
and racks of freshly baked goods. And these goods are like muffins.
I
and
like that
all
you're
kinds
calling
of
them
donuts.
goods.
And you know what I get?
What do you get?
The banana nut bread muffin. It is the best banana nut
Is it a
bread
tasty
muffin.
cake or is it?
No. It's
real
It's like it,
muffin.
when I
Because they
when I
got
mean
tasty
The Wawa
cakes there, too.
Bakery.
when I
No,
when
he's
I
saying
say,
like a real muffin.
this isn't fake. This isn't wrapped. This is they lay it out probably about 6. I buy like 4 of them and they're huge. They're huge. Get yourself one from Wawa.
Do you? What do you do with 4? Go home.
Well, I did
Have a little
say
quiet
our
time?
banana nut bread. Let's get into it, guys.
I like their flatbreads, and I want Wawa. We're propping you
Are we
up.
going
so-
to Wawa after this?
Let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's do it, man. They
Sounds
make
like a
it-
great plug for Wawa.
Hey.
This
I know,
is,
right?
their mac and cheese is off
Wawa.
the hook, too.
You hear that?
Wawa.
Come on, Wawa.
All right, so let's talk about
Open
what happened
24
last
hours,
week.
too, I mean,
What happened last
Let's
week?
just keep rolling with it.
I had a misstep. I went 1-3, and so Phil and I are now tied. Phil went 2-2.
the cream is rising.
Yeah, that's something's rising.
Slowly.
So we are both 15-9 on the season, 62% winning percentage.
Yes.
Delano, he continues to fall backwards.
Just sinking
Yeah.
into the abyss.
1-3 last week.
I'm not too far. Not too far,
13 and
guys.
11.
You're going the wrong way.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's
Antone
all right.
is nice and consistent, 2-2,
He's
50%.
just terrible.
And then Mark joined the fray, and he was 2-2 last week also. He almost talked himself into
Into
the
trap
pick,
game.
but he didn't do it.
He let
should've.
Delano, right? Is that it?
Yeah.
He let Delano talk
it
him
right.
out of it.
I didn't let him talk about.
No, he let you talk him out of it.
No, I didn't talk him out of
Yeah,
it.
you
Yeah,
threw
you talked him out of it.
Demario Davis out there, and
So Phil, what games
it's
do we
just-
have?
It swung me.
So the first one on the docket is we got the Cardinals -6 at the Eagles.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you that Antone chose the Cardinals. It's a brave pick. There. Delano, what did you? Because I know what you chose.
I went Packers. Packers.
Wrong game.
Yeah, wrong game, and I know what you chose, so I can just take it away from you.
That's not what I said.
So it
I'm
was,
sorry. I looked at that wrong. Wrong
Cards.
line.
This is lowering. He's just lowering expectations so
You
that when
chose,
he
you chose
loses,
the Cards too.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, you did. So what do you guys think? Philly +6. It's a lot of points.
Hey guys, I'm looking at it right now. I got the Cardinals.
okay.
Just want to let you guys know.
I wrote all yours down because you sent it
No,
to me.
They're already there.
I appreciated that. So.
That was last week's.
We're just confirming.
So what do you guys think?
I'm not talking myself out of the Eagles this week. I'm going Philly. It's another one of those games where, you know, you think you would want to go the Cardinals, but again, I mean, they're rallying around the rookie, Carson Kames and Carson Wentz, and now bring in Jalen Hurt. And
You're gonna hurt your. You're gonna not like yourself next week, but
it's
go with it.
Phil, what do you got?
I think the Cardinals are still a bad team. It's the classic no-show. They shouldn't. They should have won that game last week by a lot more. The way the quarterback looked, limping around, the Giants shouldn't have been in that game for as long as they were. I'm not impressed. I take the Eagles.
There it is.
Resounding.
And I'm going to go the Eagles in 6-2. I think the Cards may win, but I think it'll be a close game.
You also have a tough matchup for DeAndre Hopkins there. I think he's got he draws Darius Slay, right?
Darius Slay, you know what? I actually like Hopkins. We didn't talk about that, right? Slay has been shot in the last. I mean, he's had some tough matchups, but
He has. He's
been getting abused a little bit.
Yeah, but again, he draws everybody's number one, and
That's
Philly is, you know, they've
and the difference in everybody's number one, he's looked rougher against some speed receivers.
Yeah.
That's not Hopkins.
That's not Hopkins. That's fair.
So
All right.
next game, what do you guys got?
We got the New York Football Giants plus
Versus
3.5 at the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, the Antone surprise pick. Picked the Brown. He picked my Browns, which he hasn't done.
Yeah. Well, Antone, I mean,
You guys want to give it a rub? Anybody?
I'll
No,
leave that
last time I
alone.
did that, I'm sinking.
I'll get in there.
no.
Ever since I started going on the Browns,
Sean, Gabby, have a
Well,
rub.
he rubbed it in the wrong place, by the way.
Thank you, Sean.
No.
I don't know where Delano, sorry,
Wow.
Good.
was.
Yes.
I'm trying.
Who's that?
Was rubbing the elf last week. It's
Yeah,
a
it
little
was
problematic,
inappropriate.
and I hope no children were watching.
As
Well, that's why the cream is
as
going
Gabby
down.
Said,
The
Tell me
cream-
on the elf word.
Well, it looked like you were trying to make the cream go up.
Well, I'm
Okay.
I'm the bottom of the cream.
That was too far. All
I
right.
set it up.
So Antone
kicked it.
chose the Browns. What do you got to?
Y'all gonna get this right. I went with the Giants. Obviously, I
Right,
can't
you
go
did.
against my own team.
Yeah.
Even if
And the Giants get 3.5, which
I think that was good enough.
I
That was
think
good
that
enough.
hook, the hook helps because, I'll take the Giants as well. If it was a 3-point game, I'd probably take the Browns.
Yes, the hook does help.
I like how you already have Delano's picks down there, and once he tells you who he picks, you validate it. You're like,
Be-
oh yeah,
because
yeah,
it-
you're right.
I don't
You
know.
said
It could
the same
change.
too.
He's a kind
he's
of
a
guy.
loose cannon.
Yeah.
He's a loose cannon.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. There is one that I was
Yeah, you
gonna
can
change
change it.
before.
Well, don't
That's
tell
fine.
us because they don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, you
So,
change it out. I'll validate.
There is one that I was gonna change.
All right,
We
you
haven't
said,
got to
I
it
got
yet.
it.
All right, go ahead.
Mark, who do you like?
All right, I'm gonna redeem myself for kind of bashing the Browns a little bit earlier.
There you go.
I'm going Cleveland.
Yeah, I find myself. It's shocking because a Browns fan is by nature a skeptic, and we consider we're going to lose all the time.
Be a believer this year.
I actually think we're going to beat the Giants even with the points. I like the Giants. I think that they're a lot better than their record. I think their quarterbacks, either one, scare me for different reasons or help the Browns for different reasons. The biggest thing I see is Myles Garrett's been good for one strip sack a game. And let me tell you what, Danny can't hold on to the ball.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I think the difference is going to be. I think it's going to be a 7-point game. The Browns win, and it's going to be on something like that: a defensive play, a pass he has to push quickly because of Garrett, or a strip sack.
I can see that happening. And the Browns are a legitimate team this year, but they're the Browns, so we can count on them to
Yeah, that's true.
they're going to be good, and then they're going to be bad,
Round
and then
it
they'll be
up.
a little good and
Round
bad,
it
and
up.
then Cody Parkey's going to miss a field goal, and they're going to go out
Double
in the
doink.
first round. But go Browns.
And Myles Garrett, I think I read a stat last week. Myles Garrett becomes the first player in NFL history, 10.5 plus sacks in each of his first 3 seasons, I think.
Let me tell you about Miles,
And
too.
the first player in history to swing a helmet at a man.
You know what? That bastard deserved it. No, sorry. Let me tell you this about Myles Garrett. He still isn't 100% from COVID. Last week, if you watched, there was 3 different times where he actually, sat on the. He's not 100%, but I think every week he's going to gain a little bit more strength.
All right, moving on. We got the Bengals plus 13 at the Steelers of Pittsburgh.
And this is the one.
Talk about a trap game. See, this is
yes.
a game that scares
That's
me.
the one.
Really?
This is the one that is a trap game.
So what do you? Antone
Nope.
chose the Steelers.
Oh, you want me to go first, huh?
Well, you're second. Now, right?
You want to wait? You can wait.
You can wait. I'll go first. I'm going to take the Steelers. It just feels like
2 weeks.
it's
of
too
rust.
much bad play. Tomlin's going to
Enough is
lay
enough?
into them.
Is that what you feel?
They're home. They're playing a bad quarterback on a bad team without Burrow playing.
Is Mixon back this week or no?
I'm
think
not
so.
sure.
I don't think so.
I think he's still on IR.
I think they're
Oh,
talking
and
about
they dropped-
missing the rest of the season, too, just like McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Which totally screws me in the league. I have
Yep.
both of them
Me
on
too.
a
Yep.
squad.
They dominate the Bengals, man. It's been a while. The last time the Bengals were competitive with them was like 2015.
Well, last
I
game
just-
they dominated themselves. They couldn't hold on to a ball to save their life. So
I can't see 3 games like that in a row with Tomlin.
I'm talking about
No.
the Bengals. The
Oh,
Bengals.
I thought you were talking about the
the
Pittsburgh,
Bengals
the
could not
Steelers.
hold on to a ball.
With the Steelers either.
Mark, what do you
Well,
think?
I'm going Steelers here. I know I said that, maybe they were exposed the past couple of weeks, but that doesn't matter when it comes to Cincinnati. Cincinnati could be given their entire playbook, what the Steelers are going to do, and I don't think they're going to cover the spread.
All right, so you guys all went the Steelers.
I'm going Steelers too. 36-10 last time they played this season. Bengals have lost 8 straight games against Steelers. It's not a bad strategy. I think the Bengals are kind of trying to lose. They're going to have a top 5 pick, put it on a defensive player, and maybe get Burrows back.
Yeah.
It could be a solid unit next year. What do you think?
No, I think you guys looked at my pick and seen that you guys went to go with the Steelers as well. So
But I thought you were switching your pick.
no, I said it was a hard game and I wasn't too sure what I
gonna
wanted
stick
to
with
do.
the
So now you're going to stick with
I'm
it.
gonna stick with it.
Because you
All right.
heard us.
No, it was already down.
All right.
Confirmation.
What's the-
Validation.
Validation.
Yeah.
What's the last game we got?
The last game is the Vikings and the Bears.
Yeah.
Vikings are giving 3 at Chicago.
Yeah. You want me to go
Vikings
first?
Giving 3 at Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, I'm repping the Walter Payton jersey here.
You're going
my,
Bears?
My Bears are looking good. They need this win over the Vikes to kind of separate themselves to maybe talk about that wild card contention. They get a loss from the if the Eagles can pull it out and defeat the Cardinals. You're talking about Chicago now tied for that last wild card spot. I think Chicago's
it.
got a lot to play for, and I like their chances here.
Well, Nagy's playing for his job. Right?
Nagy's definitely playing for his job.
By the way, Pat Fitzgerald. I think if Nagy gets fired, it's going to be Northwestern's coach is going to become the next coach of the Bears. It's the only job he would take, he said.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You go.
Antone chose the Bears. You chose the Vikings, unless
did.
you want to change.
No, I'll stick with the Vikings.
What do you think?
Well,
What was it? What was the point? What was the point?
3 point. Bears plus 3.
Yeah, I'll keep it. Final
Okay.
answer.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with the Bears. They're home. They're
There
getting
it
3
is.
points. I think they'll win this game outright. The defense has been not as good lately, but I don't really think that matters because the last time they played the Vikings, they did hold Cook in check, but it was at the cost of letting Thielen score 2 touchdowns and Jefferson have a game. So I actually think this will be a high-scoring game, depending on the weather. But I just I don't know. I don't believe in the Vikings on the road, and the Bears getting 3 points. I'll take the 3 points.
Last time they played, it was 19-13. The Vikes win, but this is a different Bears team.
And they are, to touch on, I know you've kind of said the Bears with their suspect defense lately. Last week looked different. They're unleashing everybody. They're pressuring the quarterback. You take Dalvin Cook out of the equation with a hurried Kirk Cousins, and the real Kirk Cousins stands up and throws multiple interceptions.
I do think it's going to be a higher scoring game than last time. I think it's going to be, maybe a 40, 50-point game here. So,
and they held Cook in check. I think he was under 100 yards. So
I'm going Bears. So Mark and we had the exact same picks. So good job this week. I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
So
the same ditto.
We differ on one.
No. I just try not to.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys, right? As always, thanks for listening and watching. As always, you can get us on our website at ultimatefantasylockerroom.com. We're on social media, every bit of social media, right?
Every bit.
TikTok and Trilla.
And apparently going to start selling merchandise now, too.
Yeah, merchandise as well.
On the website.
We're going to announce the punishment for this pick segment. We're going to have to work your record on winning percentage, I guess.
Nah.
Because there's really no way to
I think you should pick more games.
I could have swore I was 3-1.
That makes sense.
Oh, I could do that. I could catch up by picking more
Yeah,
games.
we'll have you pick
I can
more
check
games.
the sheet because I could have made a mistake. But
I trust you. I just
he
in
made
my
a mis-
head I was like,
You made a mistake up there, so.
hey, guys.
Oh, this is true.
Every week, we keep getting more and more listeners. We're going to keep doing this as long as you guys keep watching. And we're going to go live at the end of every episode on Instagram and TikTok. So find us.
Find us.
Peace.
Oh, we're coming for you.
I've been sold to his will hold. For falling short upon his glory, but let his will roll. Stand, they say I'm crazy, think I'm lunatic. They say my head's up in the clouds only when I'm on my trips. Land, hope you pick up on what I'm laying. The time is not no delaying. Convey to you on his cadence. The plan is to give us life, but the sin that got us decay. And we'll live with an eternal God where our days are no more. Tonight you gotta let go. And one of them sin and get to know the King. Great I am.